Hi everyone, welcome to Dharma Earth's Dose of Dharma, and this is your dose of Dharma for today. Okay, so continuing how we should behave towards the Triple Gem. So regarding the bhikkhus, okay, the bhikkhus ideally they are a group of virtuous people who will not try to harm those who hurt them, but bear up any harm patiently. Okay, of course, this is in an ideal situation. Okay, but let us continue first. If in an ideal situation, what is it? What we have to take note of? So, since bhikkhus, they are a group of virtuous people, so they practice virtue, they practice morality, right? But some people, they will insult the bhikkhus without any fear or any misgivings. Sometimes they accuse them. Sometimes they think of insulting the bhikkhus just to show off. Sometimes just to show off that we are more clever than the bhikkhu. We are very clever. So sometimes some people will do this. Indeed, when we go to different countries, different cultures, they may not understand. So sometimes they will react in an unwholesome way towards the bhikkhus. Okay? So when one behaves in an unwholesome way towards a virtuous person, then it is a very great immoral act, right? Just like when we perform meritorious deeds to virtuous people, then the results will be greater than if you do it to an immoral person. So too, the evil deeds that are done to a virtuous person, the results of the unwholesome deeds will be stronger. Okay, this is the law of nature that we have seen, we have understood from the Buddha's teachings, and it is to be verified, through our meditation practice. If you can practice dependent origination, if you can practice the divine eye, psychic power, or the recollection of past life psychic power, then you may be able to verify this by yourself, right? Anyway, so if somebody does something unwholesome, evil to the bhikkhus, try to harm the bhikkhus and all that, then the bad effect of this can also result not only in the victim, but also not only in the accuser, but also maybe sometimes also bring disaster to the family of that accuser. All right. So there was one story that I think it's in the Jataka or in the Dhammapada. There was one person who, out of jealousy, so emptied the food. Okay, disposed of the food intended to offer to an arhan given by his devotees out of jealousy, and then because of that karma, then this person was always reborn in very poor situations. Of course, that life he was reborn in hell after that life, but for many lives after that, this being was reborn in a very suffering destination, reborn in suffering lives, and he or she was always poor, like that, until the time of our Gautama Buddha. Then this being was reborn in a fishing village. So the moment that he was conceived, okay, that the moment that the mother conceived him, then the whole village couldn't catch fish, ultimately they had to divide the fishing village into half. Then the other half, where he didn't belong, caught a lot of fish. Then they divide into half again, half again, half again, half again. And then finally, they locked down into this being. Of course, it's already came out of the mother's womb. Then after that, they just drove that family away. And because of the karma of this kid, this being that was reborn, they have very, very difficult time trying to sustain themselves. And in the end, no choice, the mother had to let the kid just go and beg for food by himself. Until the Venerable Sariputta saw this kid, felt a lot of compassion for this kid, and then after that, ultimately became his preceptor. All right. But even after that, even after attaining arahantship and all that, the karma still affects him. He was always hungry, okay, couldn't get enough food. Even until the last meal, the Venerable Sariputta wanted to let him pass on, let him enter into parinibbana with a full stomach. And it was only after a lot of effort before he could do that, So it is very dangerous to do harm or evil deeds to very virtuous people. And since bhikkhus are always trying to practice morality, and they practice the higher sila, practice higher concentration, practice higher wisdom, so that is why it is very, very important, and we need to be very careful when we are interacting with bhikkhus. Of course, you don't have to be fearful, but it's just that when unwholesome thoughts arises, then we have to be careful. All right, they will arise because we are not arahants, but at least don't indulge in them. That's the best that we can do. Don't indulge in them. Don't believe them. Let thoughts be just thoughts. Anyway, they are unwholesome, and if you indulge and believe them, then they will result. They will result in unwholesome karma. Okay, so no need for that. Just when the thought comes, just be aware of it, and then just maybe tell yourself, hey, don't get cheated by this thought. It is unwholesome. Let's see how we can respond in a wholesome way. Like that. Then it will be very safe for all of us. Like that. When we interact with the bhikkhu sangha, like that. Not to say that, not to treat them like gods or something like that. They are not gods, but it's just that because they are practicing morality, practicing concentration, practicing wisdom, and even not only towards bhikkhus, but towards any being, let us always be careful and not let not our unwholesome thoughts, unwholesome speech, and unwholesome deeds do any harm to any being. Right? When we don't believe and we don't indulge in any unwholesome thought, unwholesome speech, and unwholesome actions, then it is the safest for us. All right. Of course, it will take a lot of mindfulness to practice this, but it is worth it, definitely. Because when interacting with the bhikkhu sangha and virtuous people, then we can also learn from them. All right. Yeah, so don't have to be fearful when interacting with bhikkhus or virtuous people. Just relate to them with loving kindness, with respect, and just learn from them and perform meritorious deeds to them, treat them well. Then we will accumulate a lot of wholesome karma from that. Okay, so whenever we go to a community of virtuous people, then we should be very careful. Okay, and how to be careful? By not indulging in any of our unwholesome thoughts, unwholesome speech, and unwholesome actions. Let all our thought, speech, and action be wholesome, and then before we act. Okay. Alright, so this is our dose of Dharma for today. We shall all be well, peaceful, and happy, and may the Triple Gem bless all of us to be able to attain path, fruition, and Nibbana as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.